listening to the Global Heroes podcast, The Deep Dive. We explore the stories behind the headlines of our uplifting news features. Don't forget to follow us on social and subscribe to our free newsletter for your regular boost of positivity. So if you're involved with a condo board, or maybe you manage a community, you've probably run into this issue, this kind of paradox with outsourcing management, right?
Yeah.
You look at the biggest companies, and yeah, they absolutely offer the most resources. But then there's that nagging fear that you'll end up just another number. Impersonal service, slow responses, getting lost in the shuffle.
That's it exactly. That narrative that size means you get lost, that your low priority is precisely what the source material we're digging into today challenges.
Yeah.
It's from FirstService Residential, and they're arguing pretty strongly against it. So our mission here is to kind of analytically break down how they make the case that their scale is actually their biggest asset, how it translates into specialized knowledge, and a real local focus that changes the game.
Okay, let's unpack that. So the first big piece is local relevance. They're owned by FirstService Corporation, which is Canadian, giving them that huge North American reach. But the sources really stress a very localized structure right here in Ontario.
Right. And what's really key here isn't just that their main leadership, like the VPs and regional directors, are based locally, Mississauga or Toronto. It's that they're actively involved. They're part of groups like CCI Toronto. So this deep industry connection means they know instantly when there's some seemingly out-of-the-blue legislative change.
Okay.
And for you, the board member, that translates directly into getting compliant, like super fast.
Yeah.
It minimizes those financial risks, those legal headaches that can pop up when new rules suddenly appear.
That quick local knowledge is definitely vital. But how do they handle the friction points inside the building itself? Which brings us to what they call their integrated management model in Ontario. Sounds a bit jargony, but they say it's unique here.
Yeah, it tries to solve a really common organizational clash. Often the on-site staff report mainly to the board, right? While the manager is kind of this external person.
Yeah.
And that creates this gap. It's not always a cohesive operation.
Right, I can see that.
So by bringing the building's on-site staff directly under the condo manager, they create, one unified team. Everyone has the same reporting structure, the same goal, excellent service. It gets rid of that potential us versus them feeling. Makes things run smoother.
Okay, makes sense. Now let's talk about the sheer size aspect. Being the largest manager in Ontario, that's going to mean something beyond just coverage.
Yeah.
If I, as a board member, have a really specific, maybe complex issue, I don't know, tricky structural problems or dealing with a heritage building, how do I actually tap into the brain power of, over 19,000 associates across North America without getting tangled in red tape?
Well, that's precisely the benefit of scale they're highlighting. It means that highly specialized knowledge is often just, a phone call or an internal connection away. It's not like starting a whole new consultant search. That huge network acts like an immediate knowledge base for those unusual, really complex situations where, frankly, smaller firms just wouldn't have the built-in experience.
And a really concrete example of that kind of specialized resource, unlocked by size, is their affiliate company, FirstService Energy.
Absolutely. The sources really position this as a way to de-risk cost reduction efforts. Energy compliance, conservation efforts, these are complicated, ongoing operational things. FirstService Energy steps in with cost-effective ways to cut consumption, boost efficiency, and this is important, they help identify and actually secure local incentive programs to save money.
Okay, so it simplifies a potentially massive project for the board.
Exactly. It turns what could be a complex multi-year headache into a much more streamlined, centralized process. And the goal is real long-term savings.
But for many managers, the biggest daily grind, the real pain point, is just managing their time, right? Getting constantly swamped by the same routine resident questions, which pulls them away from the big picture stuff the board needs them focused on.
And this is where they point to innovation, specifically something called Resident Support Services, or RSS. It was basically set up to handle that huge volume of routine inquiries efficiently, often getting answers back the same day, which is huge, especially for buildings without an on-site manager.
Right.
Think of it like applying the 80-20 principle. RSS takes care of the 80% of common everyday emails and calls, and that frees up the property manager to really concentrate on the 20%, the high-impact strategic work the board actually hired them to do.
So, tying this all together, what's the bottom line for you, the board member listening? The source material really frames their core mission as simplifying life. It's about providing solutions that, enhance property values and, just as importantly, the quality of life for residents, letting board members worry less about the day-to-day grind and will actually enjoy their community more.
Yeah, if you look at the big picture, their whole argument boils down to this. Scale isn't just about covering more ground anymore. It's actually the engine needed for deep specialization, for staying ahead of local regulations rapidly, and for using technology like that RSS system to solve very specific, very common headaches like fractured teams or being buried under resident emails. So, if we know that things like streamlined efficiency and having properly vetted experts are crucial for running a condo corporation smoothly, here's something to think about. What piece of this integrated management idea or these specialized resources could you maybe adapt? Could you apply it to a complex project in your own life to sort of flip the script on it, to turn what feels like a challenge or a weakness into a real strength?
That's it for today's deep dive. Want more? Stay connected with global heroes through our newsletter and socials.